What is up, guys? So today we are looking at some more TBC news, and today we are looking at 3 different topics. We have the fact that Blizzard announced no guild banks on the Burning Crusade launch, we also have the lifting of the daily dungeon limit in the Burning Crusade pre-patch, and we have one more topic, which is the PvP rating system, which talks about the requirements for weapons and shoulders, and the changes to the system in general. So let's just get right into number 1, which is the fastest one, and that is the fact that we will not have any guild banks, or we will have them later on, but not in Phase 1, or not at the release of TBC Classic. So Blizzard has announced their plans for guild banks in Burning Crusade Classic, noting that there will be no guild banks on launch, and the Bluepost itself reads this: "Hello, we have not been planning to open guild banks with the launch of Burning Crusade Classic. They are going to come into the game with a future patch, and we are working to make that happen sooner than it would have if we had followed the original patch progression," which basically means that guild banks were originally in the same patch as Suleiman, and we are going to get them before that, so I would say Phase 2, or maybe in like a small patch in Phase 1. Now here's the thing, right, I don't really know why they're doing this, because we have several quality of life things that have been changed throughout TBC itself, like in the original TBC, that we will have at the launch of TBC Classic. So the only reason to actually delay this, in my opinion, that makes sense, is the fact that they don't have them ready yet, and they have to focus on different things, which is fine, but in that case, just tell us why. So, news number 2. Blizzard is lifting the daily dungeon limit in the Burning Crusade pre-patch. And basically, let's read through the Bluepost and then talk about what this means. So, the daily limit was a setting that we chose with great care last year, as we measured that it would impact an extremely low number of legitimate accounts, while giving us a helpful means to limit the impact of exploitative accounts, aka bots, before we could detect them and close them. Now with the Burning Crusade Classic pre-patch upon us, we understand that players are about to play WoW in a different way, as they level up their Blood Elves and Draenei, and then go through the Dark Portal and level some more. Over the next few weeks, the impact of the daily limit is more difficult to know, so we are going to remove the daily limit on all Burning Crusade realms, effective with the launch of pre-patch, meaning that for North America this is already in play, and for Europe you'll get it tomorrow. As before, we will carefully observe player activity, so that we can decide what daily limit, if any, is appropriate to enact after Outland leveling activities have peaked. And then, thanks. So what this means is that you can now do as many dungeons as you want per day, but you still have the 5 limits per hour cap, so you can only do 5 dungeons per hour, then times that with 24 and you get 120 or something. I don't really know, but 120 sounds about right. So you can do so many dungeons in a day, and they are doing this because a lot of people will be doing dungeon grinding to level in Outland, and there's a high percentage of people that will surpass the previous limit, which was 30 dungeons in a single day, and a lot of people will surpass that one really fast. If you do 5 dungeons per hour, that would mean you can only do dungeons for 6 hours, and then you would be forced into the open world and doing quests until you can do more dungeons the next day. So they're basically limiting, or they are removing some type of gatekeeping, which I think is fantastic, because now you can grind dungeons all the way to level 70, you can get your reputations in check, and you can play with your friends and do exactly what you want. Also, when you get to level 70, you want to run many heroic dungeons anyway, to get your pre-best in slot items, so this is an absolutely fantastic change, and I'm really happy with it. So number 3 and the last news for today is about the Classic or Burning Crusade Classic Beta Arena Rating Update. So basically they have made some updates to the rating system, and they are changing it a little bit from what it used to be back in original TBC. So we have continued to test rated arenas in the Burning Crusade Classic Beta, and we agree with a lot of feedback about the rating system on arena gear, which caused us to take a closer look at how we are updating the system. One change from the original game that we are including is having your team and personal rating start at 0 rather than 1500, because we want people to work with their team to improve and push their rating higher, rather than give up because playing more is only causing their rating to decrease. Now this one definitely makes sense. You would rather want to start at 0 than build your way up, instead of starting at 1500 and then going down in rating, because going down in rating can be very demoralizing, causing some people to give up. So this definitely makes sense, it's a good change overall. And then the next part, we also recognize that teams that are starting out or still learning could feel unfairly penalized by a lower rating than they would have been able to achieve in 2007. While the updated MMR system does rapidly increase your rating for your earliest wins, we want to make sure the points you could expect to earn while improving were similar as well. So based on that, we are going to increase the arena points granted to teams and players with less than 1500 rating. A rating between 200 and 1500 will earn you 214 to 344 points per week for 5 vs 5 arenas, 188 to 302 points per week for 3v3, and 162 to 261 points per week for 2v2. The formula for ratings above 1500 remain unchanged from the original Burning Crusade formulas, and rapidly starts awarding a lot more points once you pass 1500. We also realized that putting the final Season 4 rating requirements on the Season 1 gear was a bit too restrictive for Season 1, which is when we want to encourage a lot of participation, so players can have a wide field of competitors to measure their skill against. When the original TBC first came out, lots of players felt compelled to join arenas to improve their item slots they hadn't had luck with in dungeons, and we want to make sure that possibility continues to exist, while also preserving the prestige of earning the best gear for the higher ratings. And based on that, we are going to use the rating systems that were originally introduced in the Burning Crusade's 3rd season, which requires a rating for 2000 for shoulders and 1850 for weapons. The rest of the gear will have no rating requirements, so you can still fill out those remaining gear slots with PvP armor. When Season 2 launches, we expect to use the same rating requirements for the Season 2 gear, while removing all of the requirements from the Season 1 gear at that time. We will keep an eye on how this feels in Season 1, as we watch how players approach the system, and we'll keep Season 3 and 4 in mind as we develop potential tweaks or further improvements. Overall, our goal remains to make arenas accessible and rewarding, while also reserving the most prestigious rewards, such as the new Rank 1 title, the Infernal Gladiator, for the very top players, and we hope these changes will help strike that balance. On Tuesday, May 18, which is today, we are going to end the current season in the Burning Crusade Classic Beta, and we are going to test our end of season calculations and rewards. Please feel free to test our rated arenas for the next couple of days, and then check back into the beta after Tuesday to see how that went. So basically, what this means is that they are changing the ratings for 5v5, 3v3 and 2 vs 2 from how it originally worked during TBC, and the formulas for ratings above 1500 are the same now as they used to be, and we also have the exact rating requirements for shoulders and weapons, so you know exactly which ratings to go for if you want those items. We also know that the rest of the gear will have no rating requirements, so if you cannot get all of the gear you want from dungeons, you can do some arenas and get that gear. So that is pretty much it for the news, guys. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about it. Leave a like below if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe for more TBC content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.